you are a child of God, we're going to make the assumption that the other person is a child of God who also has the ability to hear from God. So the Lord can speak to them directly. The Lord can speak to counsel in their life. The Lord can bring them signs and other things to confirm for them. And so my issue is always, if a person says, okay, the Lord told me this person is my spouse, I have no problem with that, because the Lord actually does do that at times. He does actually speak to a person and say, I present to you this person as a suitable option that you can consider as a spouse. And you can say, oh, in my heart, Lord, I agree with this choice that you have made. Great. So you have one person in agreement. One of my favorite verses that I use for dating is Amos 3:3, that says, how can two go together if they don't first agree? Right? You have to have the agreement. So I say, yes, I agree with the Lord. Then I look to the person that I believe the Lord said is my spouse. Right. That person must also believe and agree to the same thing with the Lord. And so if that person is child of God that we're talking about, who hears from the Lord, says, I don't think that the Lord said that to me. I don't receive that as an instruction from the Lord. They are within their right, within their free will to say, that doesn't resonate with me. I don't agree. In that regard, you have two people who are not in agreement. They can't walk in a relationship together if they're not in agreement. And so I think, for me, the really hard thing is that sometimes you have someone who is the super spiritual person. They're like, I'm a prophet of the Lord, which prophets exist, apostles exist, people who hear from the Lord crystal clear, that exists. And they'll say, well, that person, they're being disobedient because they didn't hear from the Lord, and God bend their will and force them to marry me. That's not how the Lord works. The Lord doesn't force us. Why would the Lord force the future spouse? And so my mindset is always this: the Lord wants to always present us to, with these options and brings it to us in a way that we can understand. But I think that's the biggest piece for me, the agreement. I think it's totally possible that the Lord can show you your spouse in a dream. I just, there's a couple over at my house yesterday, and they were talking about, like, the husband saw the wife 11 years before in a dream. And then he bumped into her mom, and it was a great thing, but she had to agree, and she did. They're married today. So that's my big thing. The hill that I will stand on forever is that there has to be agreements first and foremost, and then you can kind of worry about the other things. Right. If you can convince yourself that the Lord chose that person for you, and, like, I guess God picked this person as my spouse, I guess I have to marry them. You can take that accountability and shift it to God. People can end up doing that, which is so, it's not the right way to go into marriage. So you get into year 7 and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. Well, I'm doing it because God made me marry this person. That's not how life works. And so I remember when I posted my video, and oh my goodness, the comments, at some point I wanted to turn them off, because I was just like, I didn't come to argue with anyone. I was just sharing what the Lord was sharing with me.
I know you directed them to Jesus. You're like, please take it up with Jesus.
Take all the keys to the Lord, let him show you. But I think, people get giving examples of people that, like, well, didn't God force this person? I love that you gave the example of Adam. Even Adam, he woke up and he said, and he with his own mouth said, oh, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. He said that. He could have been like, oh, that's cool, my neighbor that is now in this place. He with his own mouth said that. Even Gomer, people talk about Hosea. God simply said, go marry a prostitute. He said, oh, Gomer is the prostitute that I want to marry. So even when the Lord is giving you instructions, even that instruction, that prophet his life was a sign and wonder, so it's different. Even Isaac and Rebekah, I pulled it up, Genesis 24, 7 through 8. He will send his angel ahead of you, and he will see to it that you find a wife for my son. If she is unwilling to come back with you, then you are free from this oath of mine. So all of this,
if she is unwilling,
which she has an option to be, she's going to miss out on being part of that awesome bloodline. But if she's unwilling, you're free. And the Lord didn't say, go and find Rebecca. He said, go and find a wife. And so I just think, I love what you said about, you can't say, like, oh, the Lord made me do it. There's personal accountability with dating. And I think sometimes people are scared. If I make a decision and it doesn't turn out the way I want to, it's me. I did it. I opened my eyes and did it. If I can shift some of that blame to the Lord, or share responsibility with the Lord, the Lord is definitely guiding us. But at the end of the day, he gives us all we need to make an informed decision. And then we say, God, okay, this is what it looks like. What do you think of this person? Reveal to me anything hidden, anything that I need to know. And like, I love this HR of your own life. Yes. Then you get to decide, does this person fit the vision? Does it fit what the calling on my life?